the Brothers of Phi Alpha Fraternity, Incorporated, dedicate this program to our dear departed brother, Charles Edward McGee, who passed away on January 16th, 2022, at the age of 102. Brother McGee was an American hero and one of the last surviving members of the Tuskegee Airmen, an all-black group of fighter pilots who fought with distinction in World War II. Brigadier General McGee's bravery was legendary. His legacy too great to recount here. So, dear brother, we wish you Godspeed as you climb onward and upward into the heavens.
Greetings, I'm Allison Seymour, morning anchor at WUSA 9 television, and it is my pleasure to serve as the Mistress of Ceremonies for this, the 45th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Breakfast, sponsored by the Montgomery County, Maryland chapter of Phi Alpha Fraternity, Incorporated, and the Alpha Scholarship and Charitable Foundation of IUL. Thank you for supporting this scholarship program. As you know, COVID-19 continues to dominate the news cycle and the way we conduct our lives and businesses. Therefore, instead of gathering together in person for this breakfast, which has been the long-standing tradition, the men of Phi Alpha Fraternity, Montgomery County, Maryland chapter, have decided to present this virtual program to honor Dr. King's life and his legacy. And Dr. King was a true warrior who fought to ensure that African Americans could participate in America's democracy through the right to vote. Today, voting rights for all Americans are under attack, and that's why the theme, or this year's program, is Democracy. Can we keep it? And there is no better person than United States Congressman Jamie Raskin to deliver a timely message on that issue. So keep watching to hear his message. And so we present this virtual scholarship breakfast to you, hoping that it will also inspire you to contribute to the Alpha Scholarship and Charitable Foundation of IUL to help them award financial scholarships to deserving high school students who will attend college. To begin the program, Eric Elmore, a member of the fraternity, will treat us to his version of the Star-Spangled Banner. He'll be followed by talented high school student and rising star Kelvin Dukes, who will sing Lift Every Voice and Sing.
past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on to victory is won.
Those musical selections were wonderful. Stay tuned and you'll hear more from Kelvin. But now we'll hear from Kevin Johnson, the president of the Montgomery County, Maryland chapter of the Phi Alpha Fraternity. He will be followed by Daryl Gibson, who represents the Alpha Scholarship and Charitable Foundation of IUL.
Greetings, distinguished leaders, friends, family, and guests of Iota, Upsilon, Lambda, and our great fraternity. My brother Kevin Johnson, president of the Montgomery County chapter of Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, seated here in Silver Spring, Maryland. On behalf of all the brothers of the Monument chapter, we welcome you to our 45th annual presentation of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Breakfast, sponsored in conjunction with the Alpha Scholarship and Charitable Foundation. And once again, we must come to you in a virtual setting because of the need for safety and the ongoing challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. And yet the team has worked tirelessly to produce another exceptional event that we believe is worthy of this great occasion. And to that point, given what is dominating the news cycle, today's theme is very timely. Democracy, can we keep it? Seeing all the political drama unfold around the federal bills for voting rights, the obvious push for more voter suppression and the multiple attempts on redistricting, it is surely reminiscent of the battle cry of our brother over a half century ago. Let my people vote. And unfortunately, this is only one of many strategies to ensure the exact opposite of a true democracy, where the power stays in the hands of the few. These reminders continue to feed the motivation for the work that we do, to advocate for our communities as we seek to obtain true love and brotherhood, and to ensure that every citizen has a voice and an opportunity to enjoy the freedoms of a just America. Join us as we march on to his words that are still pertinent today. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. We're very grateful to our incredible team for their work on this event, all of our special guests participating in the presentation, and to our Alpha leadership for effectively guiding us on this path of a better tomorrow. And finally, of course, to you, our esteemed guests. We appreciate that you took the time out of your day to celebrate this occasion with us. Thank you and enjoy our offering.
Good morning. I'm Daryl Gibson, and I bring you greetings from the Alpha Scholarship and Charitable Foundation today. I'm standing in for our president, John Q. Porter, who's not able to be with us. To the men of Alpha and to our honored guests and supporters, we are deeply appreciative for your efforts to safely and successfully bring this 45th celebration of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Breakfast to fruition. Through the ongoing funding the foundation receives through your support of this breakfast, we are able to carry out our mission to positively impact students across Montgomery County. We've achieved this mission through our scholarship programs, the Black Youth Achievement Awards, and through our Youth Leadership Development Program. Over the history of the foundation, we have been afforded the opportunity to support students attending colleges and universities across this country to the tune of roughly $500,000. We continue to support students in our county schools with recognition for their athletic accomplishments, volunteer activities, and academic achievements. Finally, we are so proud to annually provide financial support for area students who attend the Alpha Leadership Development Weekend. To all of you, please know how much your support and attendance during this 45th anniversary breakfast celebration means to us as we pause to recognize our dear brother Dr. King's life and legacy. We welcome the opportunity to share how you can further support our work, and I encourage you to visit us at IUL1906.org to learn more. Please enjoy this morning's program, and I leave with you the Board of Directors' warmest wishes for your continued good health, and we look forward to seeing you next year in person. Thank you.
The Alphas take great pride in recognizing other organizations and individuals who are also serving in the community to help make the lives of our neighbors better. This year, the Alphas will present their Community Service Award to Faith McFarland.
The Phi Alpha Fraternity, Montgomery County, Maryland chapter, is proud to present our Community Service Award to Faith McFarland for her 35 years of tireless volunteer service to the residents of Montgomery County, Maryland.
Good morning. My name is Faith McFarland. I would like to thank and express my gratitude to the Maryland chapter of the Phi Alpha Fraternity for choosing me for this special privilege of receiving this Community Service Award. This is certainly a glorious and special moment for me. I was truly surprised at being chosen, and I do feel honored accepting this award. My personal philosophy is focused on serving others and trying to provide help where it's needed within the community by volunteering with the Special Olympics of Maryland, the Senior Connection as a pantry shopper for senior citizens, Montgomery County Coalition programs for the annual Martin Luther King Day, with Strathmore Music Center as an usher, Montgomery County Board of Elections as an election judge, Manor Food Center, a wider circle, the homeless shelters, Meals on Wheels, Maryland Response Medical Reserve Corp through the county, and with Colesville United Methodist Church, with the COVID-19 response initiative of testing and vaccine for the community, and along with being a longtime member and being active in several community ministries at Colesville United Methodist Church. I am also thankful to Dr. Langston Smith for the insight of considering me for this award, whom after my mentioning during a conversation the many years that I have worked with the Special Olympics. This award would have been impossible for me without the help and support from the many others that I have worked with over the years within the county. Also with this award, I feel motivated to do more and promise to live up to the organization expectations in honoring me with this award. Once again, thanks to the Phi Alpha Fraternity for this honor.
The Phi Alpha Fraternity, Montgomery County, Maryland chapter, presents this award to Congressman Jamie Raskin for his outstanding public service to the people of Maryland and the nation in the continuing struggle to ensure democracy and justice prevails for all people.
If you haven't made a donation, please check out the information on how you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Alpha Scholarship and Charitable Foundation, and make a donation today. Now we'll hear another selection from Kelvin Dukes. Kelvin is a 16-year-old junior at UB Blake High School in Montgomery County, Maryland, and just the type of student that the Alpha Scholarships are intended to assist. Kelvin is a seasoned performer who has been performing since he was just 3 years old. He's been featured on television and live stages, including in December when he performed in New York's Times Square for the Wonderama TV virtual New Year's Eve celebration. For us, Kelvin will perform Donny Hathaway's Someday We'll All Be Free. Kelvin's performance will be followed by the virtual souvenir journal.
Hang on to the world as it spins around. Just don't let the spin get you down. Things are moving fast. Hold on tight and you will laugh. Lay your dreams right up to the sky. Sing your greatest song, and you keep going on, going on. Oh, take it from me, someday we'll all
My name is French Pope, and I am the chairman of the March of Dimes Committee for IUL chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. The mission of March of Dimes is to improve the health of babies by preventing birth defects, premature birth, and infant mortality. Alpha Phi Alpha has partnered with March of Dimes in this mission. Just to let you all know that in 2019, this particular chapter here was the #1 fundraising chapter in the nation. Now, this is where you come in. We want to continue in that vein. So our website is www.marchforbabies.org/team/IUL. Go on that site and make a donation today. And I want to leave you with one more piece of information. This is a full-term diaper. This is a preemie diaper. This is what we're trying to prevent. So by making your donations and contributions, we can work towards that goal. Thank you and have a great day.
The men of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, Montgomery County, Maryland chapter, would like to thank all of their generous sponsors, advertisers, and donors like you. Your support is critical to enabling them to provide scholarship awards to deserving high school students who will attend college. Now, the introduction of Congressman Raskin will be presented by Isaiah Leggett, the former county executive of Montgomery County, Maryland, and a proud member of the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity.
My task is to introduce to you today a remarkable public servant and a true patriot. That is Congressman Jamie Raskin. I do not use the term true patriot lightly. I use it because I believe it. I believe if you look at his background, his experience, but most importantly, look at what he has stood for and look at how he has represented this great nation and standing against those who would tear down our democracy. When he stood before us as the lead in the impeachment process, when he stood before us and continued to stand before us on the January 6th Commission with poise, intelligence, with knowledge and wisdom, standing for the true American values. That's a true patriot. He's prepared for that role. He's prepared for that role because he has been involved in those things that have helped save our democracy for a long time. Our response to civil rights, the dignity for all of those in our society, looking out for the least of those in our society. He served as a law professor at American University Law School. He served in Montgomery County as our state representative, our state senator in Annapolis. And he's served for a number of years as a U.S. Congressman. But he took on this very important role in the impeachment process at a time of great personal difficulty and sacrifice to him and his family. Dr. King once said, you measure leadership not by what leaders do on the times of convenience and comfort, but under challenging difficulties and circumstances. At a time of great personal sacrifice to him, he has stood tall. I want you to acknowledge his great leadership. I want you to acknowledge the role that he's played in helping to save our democracy. And we'll continue to fight for that democracy because we continue to have challenges before us. Please join with me in welcoming Congressman Jamie Raskin, a true American patriot.
Hello, everybody. I owe you an apology because our dogs were making some noise in the background. This is Toby, who is responsible for all the talking. He's a big talker, and so I'm sorry he interrupted. Wishing everybody a happy King Day, and thank you for your indulgence. All best.
Hello, everyone. It's Congressman Jamie Raskin from Maryland's beautiful 8th Congressional District, Montgomery, Frederick, and Carroll counties. Delighted to be with you for the Martin Luther King Day breakfast. Hello to all my friends in Alpha Phi Alpha. Montgomery County chapter, what a thrill, what an honor it is to be with you. after, I don't know, a few decades of being an attendee at the breakfast. It's just an extraordinary, surpassing honor to be able to share a few thoughts with you this morning. I wish we were together in that grand ballroom at the Marriott Hotel. I'm sorry, we've got to do this virtually, distance-wise, because of the continuing threat of COVID-19. But it's the wise thing to do, and I'm thinking that the organizers have made the right decision. But look, happy King Day, everyone. I wanted to begin just by telling you that my prized possession of a photograph is of my parents dangling their feet in the reflecting pool during Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech. They were captured with hundreds of other people at the reflecting pool on that extraordinary and hot day in Washington back in 1963, and they were on the cover of Life magazine with their feet there in the reflecting pool listening to Dr. King, and that's just a great treasured memento of mine. But I've got an even more personal story about Dr. King and my family, because in 1968, my father was indicted in a trial called the Boston Five trial. Some of you will remember it as the Dr. Spock conspiracy trial. It was Dr. Benjamin Spock, Reverend William Sloane Coffin, my dad, Marcus Raskin, two other people that they were indicted for their activities against the Vietnam War, and they were charged with conspiracy to aid and abet draft evaders. They were not charged with draft evasion, but for giving comfort to people who refused to submit to the induction process for the Vietnam War. And it was a celebrated trial about the freedom of speech and about, well, as my dad had it, it was really about the legality of the war, which had not been declared by Congress, and which my dad argued was in violation of the Nuremberg Conventions because of the loss of civilian life that was taking place. But in any event, when they were indicted, it was a very big, controversial thing. It divided the country. Dr. Spock, of course, was the author then of the best-selling book in the world after the Bible, Dr. Spock's Baby and Child Care. And so he was a famous figure. And of course, Reverend William Sloane Coffin was a famous minister. My dad had worked for President Kennedy, and then had become a critic of the Vietnam War. But in any event, the morning after they were indicted and they were facing many years in prison, a telegram arrived and at our house. And for those of you who don't know what a telegram is, I know we've got some young ones out there today. Telegram is kind of like a text, but they actually delivered it to your door. And so a telegram arrived from the Reverend Martin Luther King, addressed to my father. And you can imagine how excited everybody in our house was as everybody gathered around to open and read this telegram from Dr. King, which said, "Dear Marcus, I just want you to know that if you are guilty, I am guilty too. Love, Dr. Martin Luther King." And even as a kid, I can't even tell you the impact that that had on us, that Dr. King had written to my dad and written to the other defendants in that case, saying that he was standing with them. And I want to tell you that story because Dr. King, of course, was famous for his leadership in the civil rights movement and for dismantling Jim Crow and confronting Bull Connor and the racists in the South and bringing down American apartheid. but he was also very active in the peace movement, the movement against the Vietnam War, and a critic of the way that spending on war, preparation on war, stole from the social needs and the human needs of the time. And I've been thinking a lot about Dr. King and the civil rights movement because I've had colleagues across the aisle during this year since the January 6th attacks on Congress and attacks on the peaceful transfer of power, who have likened that protest to Dr. King's March on Washington. It's a fraudulent analogy, of course, but I think it's important to disentangle what's wrong with it, because Dr. King's civil rights movement established the template for movements to transform American society. I mean, in some sense, it was a continuation of movements that had come before, like the Reconstruction movement, and like the labor movement, which of course was involved in the creation of the civil rights movement. But the civil rights movement really has been the high example of what a movement to transform democracy is about. It starts with the promises of democracy: life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, the consent of the governed, everybody created equal. And as Dr. King said, all we are saying to America is be true to what you said on paper. It is a movement that tries to make the society as good as the dreams of our society, to make the reality of our society live up to the ideals of our society. And so the civil rights movement, in that sense, was an idealistic movement. But the civil rights movement, of course, was based on the principles of nonviolence, which is a principle of democracy, that we don't kill each other and we don't assault each other. We proceed nonviolently through reason and appeal to morality and appeal to people's passions, their higher passions, and not to their violent passions and not to their hatreds and their bigotries, but rather to their love, their compassion, their concern, their belief in the ideals of society. So I want to say finally that whereas the movement, if we can call it that, on January 6th, the insurrectionary movement, the movement for a coup, were all meant to attack the rule of law and attack our democratic constitutional system. The civil rights movement under Dr. King's leadership was all about uplifting the rule of law and justice in the Constitution so that we could indeed live up to the values embodied in the rule of law. And that's an extraordinary thing. And so when we think about that brutal and savage attack that took place against us on January 6th, it brings into sharper focus the magnificent triumph of Dr. King and the civil rights movement, because it held us up to those higher ideals. It proceeded on the basis of nonviolence, and it enriched and it advanced the rule of law and the constitutional values that govern us, because America is not defined, unlike some other countries, by one race or one ethnicity or one religion or one ideology or one political system. We are a nation defined by one constitution and the values and the ideals embodied in that constitution. So Dr. King has shown us how to move forward. You know, Tocqueville once said that in America, democracy is always either expanding and growing or it's shrinking, it's shriveling away. We've been living through a period of shriveling democracy, of democracy beginning to shrink. we've got to get back on the growth path for democracy, which is why we got to look at the people who are left out, like our friends in Washington, D.C., 700,000 tax-paying, draftable U.S. citizens who lack statehood, the only residents of a nation's capital on earth today who are not represented in their own legislature, like 3.5 million people, American citizens in Puerto Rico, who are not represented in Congress, like the people in DC are not. And we've got to look at the fundamental voting rights of the people, as there are hundreds of statutes today targeted at rolling back weekend voting, rolling back early voting, nullifying mail-in balloting, making it harder for people to vote, not making it easier for people to vote. So the legislation we've been pushing in Congress is for making Election Day a national holiday and protecting all of the forms of voting that are out there against the voter purges and the rollbacks and all of the nullification schemes, as there's an attempt to suppress the vote. And we are up against a whole matrix of tactics to try to neutralize democracy, like the gerrymandering of our districts, like the voter suppression statutes, like the filibuster and the packing of our courts and judicial activism to gut the Voting Rights Act in Shelby County versus Holder and the Brnovich decision. All of these things are an assault on the democratic rights of the people and the trajectory of American life, which has been towards greater inclusion and progress for the vast majority of the people. Today, we are in a race between where the vast majority of Americans are with our belief and our passion for democracy versus the attempt to use these anti-democratic instruments against us in order to undercut democracy. But we will always have the glorious, sparkling, magnificent memory of Dr. King, the King family, and the civil rights movement to guide us forward with the principles that we're fighting for and the principles that we try to embody in the movements that we create to transform America. Lincoln talked about America being a place governed by the people, for the people, of the people. That was a vision that was honored in the breach when America started. We began as a slave republic of white male property owners over the age of 21, but it has been through social struggle, constitutional change, and the moral promise that the movements fight for that we are getting ever closer to Lincoln's tantalizing ideal of government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So I wish you all a happy Dr. King Day. Thank you for allowing me to share a few thoughts with you, and I look forward to the day when we will be back together in person. Everybody stay healthy, stay strong, and hang tough for the important battles ahead.
Before we hear closing remarks from Kevin Johnson, the chapter president, I want to thank you for watching this program. The members of the fraternity know that many of us are facing challenging times due to the continuing COVID-19 pandemic, and they greatly appreciate your generous scholarship contributions. Every contribution helps. And it has been my pleasure to serve as your host, and I thank the men of Phi Alpha Fraternity for honoring me with the chance to host this wonderful program. I am Allison Seymour. Take care and stay well.
As we wrap up our program today, let me say that we were extremely honored to host you. I hope that you enjoyed the presentation. This annual breakfast is our signature fundraising event for our Paul Robeson Scholarship Program, which to date has awarded over $475,000 in scholarships to deserving high school students. It's our intention to not let this COVID pandemic or anything else stop us from achieving our objective of encouraging young people to pursue their college education. So whether clicking, scanning, Zelling, emailing, or any other channel of choice, I ask for your donation to the scholarship effort, utilizing the opportunities provided as we continue to award the needed funds for our young scholars and achievers to go to school. Once again, every and any amount counts. There's no such thing as too little or too much. We appreciate anything that you can give in support of these students as they prepare for college. And on a relevant note, I'd also like to highlight that today is Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity's MLK Global Day of Service. This breakfast is just a start, as the Brothers of IUL will be out in our community doing the work of Alpha, demonstrating our motto of servants of all to the world. Join us as we seek to make an impact on those that need it most. Visit IUL1906.org for more information on volunteer opportunities throughout the day. I thank you for attending and look forward to your feedback on our presentation. This is Brother Kevin Johnson asking you to enjoy the rest of this amazing day.